Alongside me, I've got the former Brexit Party MEP Annunziata Rees-Mogg and the political commentator Matthew Stadlen. Let's talk, shall we? Free school meals for all pupils in the land. In London, Sadiq Khan, he has now confirmed that the policy that he created for all primary school pupils in London to have free lunches, that is now going to be extended to 2024/2025. Jamie Oliver, I mean, I've got to say, Sadiq Khan celebrated this. He put a nice tweet out celebrating it. And seconds later, Jamie Oliver got on board, saying, yes, this is all great and all the rest of it, but actually it should be extended nationwide. All school kids in the UK, free school meals. I've got to say, no such thing as a free lunch. So what we mean is taxpayers paying for everyone else's children to have their meals for free, including the wealthy. Where are you on this, Annunziata?
Never before in my life have I found myself agreeing with Jamie Oliver and Sadiq Khan.
Wow, first thing for everything.
Quite a surprise to me, but I don't think it should be secondary school pupils, but primary school pupils. I think it should not be stigmatised, it should not be means tested, but one good meal a day should be provided. That head teachers up and down the country have mentioned problems with children's concentration because they are not having decent food before school, and then if they don't get it during school, that gets.
But isn't that a failure of parents? If you can't be bothered to give your own child breakfast before he or she leaves the house, then, I mean, come on.
There are huge failures from the parental side. But schools still have a duty to teach, and they need the children to be teachable. And I think it's always costly to impose a means test. That's an extra administrative burden on the school. Comes with extra costs, reduces the ability to bulk buy. My 5-year-old has free school meals because in her school the policy is any child under 7. So reception years 1 and 2, they get free school meals, they get a hot meal in the middle of the day. And I think that's a great start.
I think good for Sadiq Khan. If we're not going to invest in our children, who are we going to invest in? To my slight shame, because I went to a private school, I never really thought about this. I just took my school meals for granted. And actually the idea that you get lots and lots of kids outside of London not getting a free school meal, not getting that sort of nutritional boost, which should be a basic thing to their school day, I find rather horrifying. And I hope that this is extended much more broadly outside the capital. On this issue of whether we as taxpayers should be funding richer kids' meals at state schools, I have to say I agree with you, Annunziata, because you don't want poorer kids to be stigmatised. You don't want some kids to have to say, yeah, please can I have my free school meal while the others don't.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
And I think that's much harder at the secondary school level, where they tend to have canteen style and you can choose X or Y, and if you're on the free school meals, that would be more limited.
But also don't underestimate how poor, how low income so many people are in this country in the cost of living crisis.
And those people get free school meals. Of course, I don't want any... Just for the record...
They don't, though. They don't. Lots of people here, in this thing that Jamie Oliver released, to qualify it in some areas, your household income has to be £7,400 or less after tax and before benefits. That means, according to Oliver, that there are about 1 or 2 million children whose families are in poverty or financially struggling who are excluded from free school lunches.
I want to just play devil's advocate a little bit, if I may, because when you start providing one free school lunch and then you're saying, oh, yeah, we need to... If we don't invest in our children, you know, what are we going to do? Why draw the line at a free lunch, then? Why not give 3 square meals a day? Why not convert the PE hall into a sleep area and let people sleep there? Why are you drawing the line between what parenting intervention the school is going to do at one meal?
Well, I'll explain why. Primarily because by the time of tea time, you've left the school, so then you go home, and then it really is the parents' responsibility. At breakfast time, similarly, that's preschool, and parents should do their very best for their children. Lunch fits squarely in the middle of the school day, and I think it's essential.
And there are politicians who definitely want to take it too far. I recall reading about teachers being asked to teach their pupils how to brush their teeth, which personally I think should definitely come under the parents.
Yeah, but you know what? I had an issue with that and I debated that on this show at the time and I was really against it. And the reason I was against it is because I think so many parents currently are burn idle. I can't stand it. They're burn idle. They neglect their children. And when you start going, no, it's all right, we'll brush their teeth, we'll feed them, we'll do this, you are taking inch by inch. But actually, I listened to a lot of people, a lot of teachers got in touch with me and they convinced me. It happens. I do change my mind sometimes. They convinced me that actually, what harm is it doing? You can have companies that'll provide the products, a toothpaste and toothbrush, whatever, sponsorship or whatever, so the cost will be negligible, if any. And actually, if what you're doing is you're teaching those kids a life skill, they're all doing it together, it becomes like a good part of the hygiene and all the rest of it, then why not? And they did kind of convince me in lots of ways, I must confess.
The more we can do to protect children from neglectful parents, the better. Yes, that might disincentivise parents to get their act together, but we can't punish children for the crimes of their parents.
Do you know what I would be doing? And this is very controversial, and we haven't got time to get in this, maybe it's a debate for another day. When you've got these neglectful parents, because everyone knows who they are, and I'm not talking about people that are so poor that they literally cannot provide for their children, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the parents that deliberately abuse and neglect their children. If those people had to be sterilised after they've abused one child or one set of siblings, you would see a dramatic fall in the amount of children that would be abused in this
Michelle,
country.
I mean, you've lost me there. I mean, you could just execute them, couldn't you? I mean, where do you stop with that? Come on.
That's what I said. It's a debate for the other day. Well, I'll tell you now, you won't like the debate I'm having tomorrow then, because I'm going to debate tomorrow whether or not people that look at child abuse images, I refuse to use that horrendous term child porn, because there's no such thing as a crime scene, thank you very much. If people that view those kind of images should be chemically castrated, I absolutely think they should, and I think the state should be rolling out a policy on that regard. But anyway, that is perhaps for a different day.
We've got prison for those people, Michelle.
You say that, don't even get me started. You wait, guys, till tomorrow. The story that I'm going to share with you tomorrow, it's going to make your hair curl. Because, yeah, you've got prison when people are actually put in that, but the amount of people that are not put in prisons, that are wandering the streets, that seem to think it's OK, looking at children being abused is eye-watering.
And it's not for life.
Yeah, anyway, we shall get onto that one for tomorrow. We started the programme with Polly Middlehurst doing the news headlines, talking about the amount of people now that have got stress and anxiety because they've had to stop working from home, going into the workplace. I don't mean to undermine mental health conditions, but when we're at a level now when we're saying that people have got genuine anxiety issues, because I quote, it was along the lines of people looking at me in an office, I mean, you've got to ask yourself, what kind of society do we want? I'm arguing that we are literally creating a nation of wet wipes. And if you cannot have it within you to be in an office and interact with people, how on earth are you going to get through life? Jill says, Michelle, at my school, we've got kids who are being conditioned into thinking they can't do normal day-to-day stuff because of anxiety. She says, we've got to normalise anxiety. Feeling nervous, for example, before a big meeting or an exam or an interview is normal. It shouldn't be medicalised. You're arguing that parents are too quick to excuse their kids from everything. She says, I fear for the future. Being forced to go to the office is a terrible attack on the rights of the work-from-home pyjama classes by the evil Tories, says David. I've got to say, some of you guys, you do make me laugh, but some of your stuff, which I read every night, I can't read it out on national television at tea time. Michelle, why should I pay for free school meals? I don't even have any kids, says Tam.